Good morning students, I am S. Mohan Sundari, Department of Chemistry. In this video we are going to discuss chapter 8, water. So in previous video we already discussed the states of water and the importance of water. So there are three states of water: solid, liquid and gaseous state. So for solid state ice, and for liquid state that is water, and for gaseous state is water vapor. And then importance of water and uses of water we already discussed. So for domestic purpose we are using water, and industrial purpose in agricultural fields, in food making industries, in cloth making industries, in chemical producing industries. So in all kinds of industries water is used, as well as it is used for generating current. So in today's class we are going to discuss the next topic, properties of water and water and universal solvent. So in properties of water, both physical and chemical properties we are going to discuss, and then in water and universal solvent we are going to discuss what is solubility, what are the factors that affecting solubility, and the types of solutions. So let us see the first physical properties of water. So water is a clear transparent liquid. So it is a clear and a transparent one, and it is colorless, odorless and tasteless liquid. So we all know the melting point and freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. So this freezing point will decrease when pressure will increase. That is, if the pressure increases, the freezing point of water will be decreased. And opposite to that, if the pressure decreases and the freezing point of water will be increased. So this is one of the physical property of water. And then we all know the pure water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. When impurity is present in that, the freezing point will be different. So it will be lower than 0 degrees Celsius. So in seawater, the freezing point of seawater will be 2 degrees. So pure water is 0 degree, and seawater freezes at 2 degrees Celsius. So the main point is, if the pressure increases, the freezing point will be decreased. If the pressure decreases, the freezing point will be increased. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atmospheric pressure. So this is the boiling point of water. So this boiling point will be get reduced when it at higher altitudes. So in higher altitudes we all know the atmospheric pressure will be low, that is decreased comparing to our sea level surface. So at sea level the pressure will be higher. In higher altitudes it will be lower. So at higher altitudes the boiling point will be reduced. So in a pressure cooker, food is cooked better and quicker because the pressure and temperature of the cooker inside will be higher comparing to the outside. So the cooked food it is very easy to cook faster in pressure cooker. So that is the action of pressure around the surface and around the thing. So the boiling point of water will be get reduced at higher altitudes. That is, it starts boiling at 90 degrees Celsius or 98 degrees Celsius. So that is the concept. And the anomalous expansion of water. The anomalous expansion means the unique behavior of water. This is a unique property of water. So on cooling, the volume of water gets contracts comparing to other liquids. That is, the liquids will be contracted first, but it ups to only 4 degrees Celsius. After that 4 degrees Celsius, the liquid starts expanding. So on cooling, it decreased from one temperature to the next, that is from 100 to 0. It contracts at particular temperature, that 4 degrees Celsius. After that it starts expanding. And also ice is heated from 0 degrees Celsius, so it starts melting. So melting means it contracts. It is a unique property. Note it. We just know when we start giving heating, they will be expand. But here the water gets contract first and then only it start expanding. So this property supports that flora and fauna in colder regions. So they sustain because of this property. Then the water is frozen, so that is what I said now. The upper layer of water is frozen with this property, and the remaining layer below that ice will be remains liquid, so that the flora and fauna are able to live in that regions. So the next density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube at 4 degrees Celsius. So we all know water's density. So it differs from one substance to another substance. So for water, it increases when the temperature is increased. So from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, the density will be increased. But after that, it starts decreasing with increase in temperature. So when we are giving above 4 degrees Celsius, the density becomes very low while the temperature will be increased. So pure water is a bad conductor of electricity, while as the impure water is a good conductor of electricity. So impure water contains some salts, some dissolved metals. So this able to help that water to conduct electricity and heat. So pure water is a bad conductor and impure water is a good conductor. Then chemical properties of water. So these chemical properties will give an idea about the reactivity of metals. So when the metal starts reacting with water, they react very vigorously, as well as there will be heat evolved. That is, that reaction will be exothermic. So in some cases, the metal starts ignited. That is, it starts burning. As well as when the reaction of metals with water produces some hydroxides and hydrogen. And then the moderate reactivity metals react very slowly in water, but if we raise the temperature, it starts reacting moderately. But the low reactive metals like gold, silver does not react even at hot water or cold water or in steam, so they do not react with water. Then reaction of metals with cold water. So metals like potassium, sodium, calcium, lithium, they are all high reactivity metals. So they react vigorously in normal cold water. So the reaction will be very exothermic, as well as that metals easily catch fire. So when we react potassium with water, we get potassium hydroxide and then hydrogen gas, and the heat will be evolved. Like that sodium. Sodium with water gives sodium hydroxide and then hydrogen gas and then heat. So calcium with water produces calcium hydroxide, water and not hydrogen and heat. So this is the reaction of metals with cold water. They form respective hydroxides and they release hydrogen gas, and the reaction will be exothermic. So when the reactions of metals with hot water, that is for example when magnesium reacts with water, they also form hydroxide and hydrogen gas, but this reaction will not be exothermic. So the magnesium reacts with water molecule, so they form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. And then with steam, so the same magnesium reacted with steam to give magnesium oxide. So when the metals reacted with steam, they form only oxides. So magnesium with water gives magnesium oxide and water and hydrogen gas. So the same for next metals, so aluminum, zinc, iron. So aluminum reacts with water, give aluminum oxide and hydrogen gas. Zinc react with water, gives zinc oxide and hydrogen gas. Iron react with water, gives iron ferric oxide, iron oxide and hydrogen gas. So metals like aluminum, zinc, iron are low reactive metals, that is moderately they will react, but they react only with steam to form respective metal oxide and hydrogen gas. So the some metals like lead, copper, silver, gold, they do not react with either water or steam. So this is the reactivity series of metals. So you can get an idea about this. So potassium, sodium, lithium are all high reactive, while silver, gold, platinum, copper are low reactive, that is least reactive metals. The next one, reaction of metal and non-metal oxides with water. So metal oxides that are soluble in water dissolve in it and produce metal hydroxide. So like magnesium, calcium, they are easily soluble, that is magnesium oxide, that is metal oxide will easily soluble in water, so they form respective hydroxide. But the non-metal oxide form corresponding acids. So when carbon dioxide reacts with water, they form carbonic acid. Then sulfur trioxide reacts with water, they form sulfuric acid. The next topic, water and universal solvent. So what is solution? A solution is a mixture of two or more substance. So that solution contains two parts, that is solute and solvent. So the solute is a substance which is dissolved and the solvent is a substance which dissolves. So that is solute and solvent. So in commonly we get an idea that a smaller amount is called solute and the larger amount is called solvent. So in a solution which is in smaller amount, that is solute, and which is in larger amount, that is solvent. So why we are calling water as an universal solvent? Because water can dissolve almost all kinds of solids, liquids and gases. So due to that reason, water is called as an universal solvent. So we all know ionic compounds and covalent compounds. So those ionic compounds get dissolved with water, they form respective cations and anions. So example, when sodium chloride is dissolved in water, they form Na plus and Cl minus ions. While covalent compounds like glucose and sugar dissolve in water, they do not form ions. They just dissolve in water. And then solubility. So solubility is the concept that maximum amount of a specific solute that dissolves in 100 gram of liquid substance is called solubility. So we are taking different kinds of substance and we are getting a solubility of that particular substance when it gets dissolved with the respective solvent. So that is called solubility. So these are the factors that affecting solubility. So temperature, nature of solute, stirring, pressure, size of particles. So these will affect the solubility. So temperature, when temperature gets increased, the solubility rate will be increased. So the solubility will be done very easily. And the nature of solute. So we all know what is polar compounds and non-polar compounds. So those polar compounds dissolves in water and non-polar compounds dissolves in solvent like benzene. And then pressure. So pressure affects the solubility. So this pressure helps to dissolve gas in liquid. So the pressure helps the gas to dissolve in a liquid. Then size of particles. So the larger the size of the particle, need more time to dissolve. But the lesser the size of the particle, dissolve very easily. Then stirring. Stirring is the process what we do while mixing. So that stirring helps to dissolve more fast. And then there are three types of solution based on this solubility character. So there are unsaturated, saturated and supersaturated solution. So what is unsaturated solution? A solution which dissolve more of solute, that is unsaturated solution. So at particular temperature, a solution, we are having solvent and solute. For example, you take a sugar and water. So in a water you add some spoons of sugar and then we can add more sugar. So we can able to dissolve more solute, that is called unsaturated. But in saturated solution, we cannot dissolve no more solute. So that is saturated solution. And then supersaturated solution. So at that saturated solution, while we giving heat, we can add more solute. But after that, we starts cooling, they form crystal. So you can understand by this picture. So unsaturated solution means more solute we can able to dissolve. But in saturated solution we cannot dissolve no more solute. And in supersaturated solution it becomes unstable because we are adding more solute. After that it starts forming crystals. So it is a reactivity series mnemonics. So it will help to remember the metals in order from least reactive to most reactive. So kindly use this for memorizing the reactivity series. Thank you, students.